You know what's crazy? Most of us have no idea how bad we actually feel. We've gotten so used to being tired, achy, and just getting by that we think it's normal or that it's just what happens as you get older. But what if I told you that the way you feel right now isn't how you're supposed to feel, even if you're in your 40s or 50s or beyond? The truth is that there's a big difference between surviving and thriving, and your body has 9 very clear ways of telling you something's off. So, today we're going to put your health to the test. Welcome to the Feel Better, Live Free podcast brought to you by Thinlicious. I'm your host, Ruth Sukup, and here we'll talk about everything from the science of weight loss to practical tips for making your health a priority in the midst of a busy life. It's a little bit nerdy, a little bit funny, and a little bit revolutionary. So buckle up, friend, because it's about to get real. Hey there, and welcome back to the Feel Better, Live Free podcast. Once again, my name is Ruth Sukup, and I am the founder of Thinlicious and the creator of the Thin Adapted System. And if this is your first time listening, here's what you should know about me. I've been coaching and mentoring women online for a long time, since way back in 2010. I've written 7 books. I've been on TV and spoken on stages around the world. But for most of that time, behind the scenes, I was fighting a different kind of battle with my health. And I struggled with my weight for 10 years, failing at diet after diet until I finally decided to take a radically different approach. Instead of starting yet another diet, I started researching. And I found out that basically everything I thought I knew about health and weight loss was totally wrong. That the real key isn't calories, it's hormones. So I changed my whole approach, lost 49 pounds without dieting or Ozempic, and I've kept it off for years now. But here's what I want you to understand. This journey taught me something I think a lot of us don't really grasp until we experience it ourselves. It's that sometimes we don't even realize how bad we feel, or that the crappy way we feel right now isn't just a normal part of getting older. I always tell my clients that the way you feel right now didn't happen overnight. You didn't just wake up one morning and suddenly find yourself 50 pounds overweight, struggling with digestion issues and achy joints and chronic fatigue and dull skin. Because if you had, you would realize that something was wrong and you would do something about it. If you suddenly break your arm, you go to the doctor and get it fixed, right? But your real health crisis happened slowly, gradually, a little at a time without you really noticing it. And so you started to think this is normal. It's like that classic analogy of the frog in the pan. It starts out in cold water. And even when you turn on the stove and start heating up the water, it never jumps out because the temperature is rising so slowly that it doesn't realize it's cooking to death. That's what happened to me for years. I was slowly declining, getting a little more tired, a little more achy, a little more bloated, gaining a few pounds here and there. But I kept trying to convince myself that it was fine, that it was normal. But it wasn't normal. My body was sending me all sorts of signals that something was wrong. I just didn't know how to read them. And maybe you're doing the same thing right now. Maybe you're pushing through fatigue, ignoring little aches and pains, convincing yourself that basically feeling like crap most of the time is just part of getting older. Well, I'm here to tell you it's not. And today, we're going to figure out together where you actually stand. Are you thriving or are you just surviving? Because the difference isn't just about how you feel today. It's about whether you're setting yourself up for a long, vibrant life or quietly sliding toward chronic health problems that could steal literal years from your life or, at the very least, mean a whole lot of added misery and pain. But one thing I do want to say real quick is that if you're new here and want to know more about how I transform my health and how you can too, I've put together a free video training called Healthy, Happy, and Free. It's really helpful and explains everything you need to know about how to lose weight and actually keep it off without dieting or weight loss drugs or making yourself miserable. You can watch it at thinlicious.com/happy, but I'll also put the link in the show notes. But today isn't specifically about weight loss. Today is about something even more fundamental, understanding what real health looks like and whether you're actually experiencing it. Because here's the thing most people don't realize you can be walking around thinking you're doing okay, managing fine, while your body is quietly sending you signals that it's struggling. And those signals are not just about how you feel today, they're predictors of what's coming down the road. So let's get into it. I'm going to walk you through 9 specific signs that tell you whether your body is thriving or just surviving. And I want you to honestly assess yourself on each one. Don't sugarcoat it, don't make excuses, just be real about where you stand. Because knowledge is power, and you can't fix what you don't acknowledge. Let's start with your immune system. How often do you get sick? And I'm not talking about that one time you got food poisoning or the flu that knocked everyone in your office on their ass. I'm talking about your general pattern. Do you catch every cold that goes around? Are you constantly battling little infections, feeling run down, or dealing with lingering symptoms that just won't quit? If your body is thriving, you should rarely get sick. Your immune system should be strong enough to fight off most of the bugs you encounter before you even know you've been exposed. I remember when I was at my heaviest and most unhealthy, I was constantly getting sick. Every cold, every stomach bug, every little thing that was going around, I'd catch it. And not only would I catch it, but it would knock me out for days longer than everyone else. Now, aside from my kidney infection a few months ago, which was kind of a crazy one off thing caused by E. coli, I almost never get sick. I can't even remember the last time I had a cold. And when I do, it's usually mild and short lived. That's a big deal. And this isn't just about convenience, though not spending half your winter nursing colds is pretty nice. It's about what your immune function says about your overall health. Studies show that people with robust immune systems in midlife have significantly lower rates of chronic diseases as they age. We're talking about a 30% reduction in risk for things like heart disease, diabetes, and even some cancers. Your immune system is basically like a canary in a coal mine for your overall health. If it's struggling, that's often the first sign that other systems in your body are under stress too. Next up, energy. Not the kind you get from 3 cups of coffee and sheer willpower, but natural, steady energy that carries you from morning to night. When your body is thriving, you should wake up feeling rested and maintain that energy throughout the day. No crashing at 2 p.m., no needing a nap just to make it to dinner, no relying on caffeine or sugar to keep you upright. I know this might sound like a fantasy if you're currently dragging yourself through most days. I remember feeling like I was running on empty all the time, like my energy tank had a leak and I could never quite fill it up. But here's the thing, chronic fatigue isn't normal. It's not just part of getting older, it's a sign that something is off. When I changed how I ate and started healing my body, one of the first things I noticed was my energy coming back. Not the jittery, artificial energy you get from stimulants, but real sustainable energy that felt like my body was actually working the way it was supposed to. Research from the Harvard School of Public Health found that people who maintain consistent energy levels in their 40s and 50s live an average of 8 to 12 years longer than those who struggle with chronic fatigue. That's because consistent energy is a marker of good metabolic health, healthy hormone levels, and efficient cellular function. So, how's your energy? Are you cruising through your days feeling strong and capable, or are you white knuckling it from one coffee break to the next? This one might make some people uncomfortable, but we need to talk about it because it's crucial, your digestive health. If your body is thriving, you should be having regular, easy bowel movements. We're talking once or twice a day, no straining, no drama, just smooth and efficient waste elimination. Basically, you poop like a champ. I know, not exactly dinner party conversation, but your digestive health is one of the clearest windows into your overall health status. When your gut is healthy, you're not dealing with chronic bloating, gas, constipation, or diarrhea. You're not popping in acids after every meal or planning your day around bathroom availability. For years, I dealt with digestive issues that I just accepted as normal. I was bloated more often than not, struggled with irregular bowel movements, and had this constant feeling of digestive discomfort that I'd learned to tune out. But when I cut out sugar and processed foods and started eating real whole foods, everything changed. My digestion became effortless. The bloating disappeared. And yes, I now poop like a champion, as I like to say. This matters because your gut health affects everything else in your body. Poor digestion is linked to inflammation, immune dysfunction, mood disorders, and even cognitive decline. A major study published in the journal Gut found that people with healthy digestive patterns had a 25% lower risk of developing chronic diseases over a 20-year period. That's huge. So be honest, how's your digestive system treating you? Here's one that hits close to home for a lot of us: weight stability. If your body is thriving, your weight should be relatively stable in a healthy range without you having to think about it constantly. You're not yo-yoing up and down. You're not gaining 5 pounds every winter that you have to fight to lose in spring. You're not on the diet binge cycle that so many of us know all too well. Now, I'm not talking about the kind of weight stability you get from restricting calories and white knuckling your way through constant hunger. I'm talking about the kind where your body finds its natural set point and maintains it because all your systems are working properly. This was a game changer for me. For years, my weight was all over the place. I'd lose 10 pounds, gain 15 back, lose 20, gain 25 back. It was exhausting. But when I finally addressed the root cause, my insulin resistance and hormonal imbalances, my weight stabilized naturally. I've maintained a 49-pound weight loss for 4 years now without dieting, without obsessing, without constantly battling my body. That's what thriving looks like. Research shows that people who maintain stable weight in midlife, not through restriction, but through metabolic health, live significantly longer than those whose weight fluctuates wildly. We're talking about a 5 to 7 year difference in life expectancy. Unstable weight often indicates unstable blood sugar, insulin resistance, hormonal chaos, or chronic inflammation, all of which are predictors of serious health problems down the road. Your skin is your largest organ, and it's like a billboard advertising what's happening inside your body. When you're thriving, your skin should look healthy, clear, bright, with good color and texture. You're not dealing with chronic acne, unexplained rashes, dry patches that won't go away, or that dull, tired look that no amount of expensive skincare seems to fix. I remember looking in the mirror during my unhealthiest years and seeing skin that looked as tired as I felt. It was dull. I had dark circles that concealer couldn't touch, and I was breaking out like a teenager despite being in my 40s. Your skin reflects what's happening with your hormones, your inflammation levels, your nutrient status, and your detoxification pathways. When those systems are thriving, it shows. Now, I'm not saying you need to look like a supermodel or have perfect skin. None of us do. But chronic skin issues are often your body's way of telling you something is off internally. Studies have found that people with healthy skin markers in midlife have about a 20% lower risk of developing chronic inflammatory diseases as they age. That's because healthy skin often indicates low levels of systemic inflammation. How often do you get headaches? If you're thriving, the answer should be rarely, if ever. Sure, you might get one occasionally if you drink too much wine or you're dehydrated, but chronic headaches, whether they're tension headaches, migraines, or just that low-level head pressure that never quite goes away, are not normal. I used to get headaches multiple times a week. I kept ibuprofen in every purse, every car, every room of my house. I thought it was just part of life. But headaches are often a sign of inflammation, poor blood sugar control, hormonal imbalances, or chronic stress. And all of those things are predictors of bigger health problems. When I healed my body and got my hormones balanced, the headaches virtually disappeared. Now, I might get one every few months, usually when I've done something stupid like skipped meals or had too much to drink. Research shows that people who rarely experience headaches have a 15% lower risk of stroke and cardiovascular disease. That's because the underlying causes of chronic headaches, inflammation, vascular dysfunction, hormonal chaos, are also risk factors for more serious conditions. So, yes, those headaches actually are a pretty big deal. But, what else is a big deal? Especially as we get older, chronic aches and pains, your back hurts, your knees creak, your shoulders are tight, your neck is stiff, are not an inevitable part of aging. If your body is thriving, you should be able to move through your day without constant discomfort. You should be able to get out of bed in the morning without groaning. You should be able to bend over to pick something up without your back protesting. I know this might sound impossible if you're currently dealing with chronic pain. But here's what I've learned. A lot of what we accept as normal aging is actually chronic inflammation in disguise. When I was at my unhealthiest, everything hurt. My joints ached, my muscles were constantly tense. I felt like I was 20 years older than I actually was. But when I changed how I ate and started reducing inflammation in my body, most of those aches and pains disappeared. I'm 47 now and I feel better physically than I did at 37. Studies consistently show that people who are pain free in midlife live about 10 years longer than those dealing with chronic pain. That's partly because chronic pain limits activity and quality of life, but it's also because chronic pain is often a marker of systemic inflammation, which accelerates aging and disease development. So ask yourself, does everything hurt and you've just gotten used to it? If so, something needs to give. And then there's sleep, the foundation of everything else. If your body is thriving, you should fall asleep relatively easily, stay asleep through the night, and wake up feeling rested and ready for the day. Not tossing and turning for hours, not waking up multiple times every night, not dragging yourself out of bed feeling like you got hit by a truck. For years, I had terrible sleep. I'd lie awake for hours with my mind racing, wake up multiple times during the night, and feel exhausted no matter how many hours I spent in bed. Good sleep is when your body repairs itself, when your hormones reset, when your brain clears out metabolic waste. If you're not getting quality sleep, every other system in your body suffers. When I fixed my hormones and reduced inflammation, my sleep transformed. Now I typically fall asleep within minutes, sleep soundly through the night, and wake up feeling genuinely rested, but the research is crystal clear on this. People who sleep well consistently live 12 to 15 years longer than those with chronic sleep problems. Poor sleep is linked to everything from diabetes and heart disease to cognitive decline and early death. So, if you're not sleeping, that's a bad sign. Last but definitely not least, your mental and emotional health. If your body is thriving, your mind should be too. I'm not talking about being happy all the time. That's not realistic or healthy, but you shouldn't be dealing with chronic anxiety that keeps you up at night, depression that makes it hard to get out of bed, or mood swings that feel out of your control. When your body is healthy, your brain chemistry is more balanced, you feel more resilient, more emotionally stable, better able to handle stress without falling apart. I remember years when my mood was all over the place. I'd snap at my family over nothing, feel overwhelmed by normal daily tasks, or sink into funks that lasted for weeks. But here's what I learned: a lot of what we dismiss as psychological issues are actually physical issues in disguise. When you're dealing with blood sugar crashes, hormonal chaos, chronic inflammation, or nutrient deficiencies, it absolutely affects your mental state. When I healed my body, my mental health improved dramatically. I feel calmer, more stable, more resilient. The anxiety that used to plague me is virtually gone. Studies show that people with stable mental health in midlife can add 8 to 10 years to their life expectancy. That's because chronic stress, anxiety, and depression all accelerate aging at the cellular level. Okay, so there are your 9 signs. Let me recap them quickly. You rarely get sick. You have consistent energy throughout the day. Your digestion works smoothly. Your weight stays stable without constant effort. Your skin looks healthy and clear. Headaches are rare. You don't have chronic aches and pains. You sleep well and wake up rested. And your mental and emotional state is stable. So, how did you score? Be honest with yourself here. This isn't about judgment, it's about awareness. With this, if you checked off 6 or more of these signs, congratulations. You're thriving. Your body is in good shape and you're setting yourself up for a long, healthy life. If you checked off 3 to 5, you're in that middle ground. Not terrible, but not optimal either. You've got some work to do, but you're not in crisis mode. And if you checked off 2 or fewer, friend, you're surviving, not thriving. And that's okay. There's no shame in it, but it is a wake up call that changes need to happen. I want you to know that a few years ago, I would have scored maybe a 2 or 3 on this list. I was tired all the time, getting sick constantly, dealing with digestive issues, mood swings, aches and pains. I was surviving, not thriving. Today, I can honestly say I check all 9 boxes. And the difference in how I feel now versus how I felt 5 years ago is incredible. It's night and day. But if you had asked me then whether I was healthy, I would have said, sure, I'm pretty healthy. I'd like to lose a few pounds, but otherwise, I'm fine. And I would have believed it because I had no idea. And maybe that's where you're at too, right now. But here's why this matters so much. These aren't just markers of how you feel today, they're predictors of what's coming. If you're thriving now, you're likely setting yourself up for what researchers call successful aging. maintaining your physical and cognitive function well into your 80s and 90s. If you're just surviving, you're at higher risk for the chronic diseases that steal both quality and quantity of life: diabetes, heart disease, cancer, dementia. But here's the good news: it's not too late to change course. Your body has an incredible capacity to heal and regenerate when you give it what it needs. Every single one of these markers can improve with the right changes. I've seen it happen thousands of times with my thin adapted system clients, and I experienced it myself. So the question is, what are you going to do about it? If you're ready to stop just surviving and start thriving, here's what I want you to understand. It's not about overhauling your entire life overnight. It's about making strategic changes that address the root causes of why your body might be struggling. And in almost every case, it comes back to the same fundamental issues: insulin resistance, chronic inflammation, hormonal imbalances, and poor gut health. These are the four horsemen of poor health, and they all tie together. Fix one, and the others start improving too. That's exactly what my Thin Adapted System program is designed to do: help you reverse insulin resistance, reduce inflammation, balance your hormones, and heal your gut through strategic changes in how you eat and live. It's not about restriction or deprivation. It's about giving your body the tools it needs to thrive. If you want to learn more about how this works, I've got that free training I mentioned earlier: Healthy, Happy, and Free. You can watch it at thinlicious.com/happy. It walks you through exactly how to start this process and what you can expect. Because here's what I know for sure: you don't have to settle for just surviving. You can thrive. Your body's incredible. It wants to heal. It wants to work properly. It wants to give you energy and vitality and all the things that make life worth living. You just have to give it the chance. So take this assessment as information, not judgment. Use it as motivation, not condemnation. And if you're ready to make changes, know that I'm here to help. That's all I've got for you today, friends. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. Leave a review if you found it helpful. Until next time, here's to feeling better and living free.